Children in poverty are more likely to have cognitive and behavioral difficulties than their better off peers. Plenty of past research has looked into the physical effects of childhood poverty or documented mental health disparities between socioeconomic classes. But researchers at Washington University in St. Louis wanted to look at a suite of outcomes to determine whether poverty continues to affect people as they enter adulthood. They collected data for 17 years from families who agreed to participate, including 216 preschoolers who were followed through early adulthood. During the course of the study, the young participants underwent brain imaging to help tease out the relationships among their socioeconomic status in preschool and provided information on a host of outcomes, including cognitive, social, and psychiatric in early adulthood. The results were published in the journal Biological Psychiatry, Cognitive Neuroscience, and Neuroimaging. The researcher says that early poverty sadly continues to predict worse outcomes in all of these domains. That holds true even if a child's socioeconomic status changes before adulthood. For the study, the researchers recruited primary caregivers and their 3 to 5-year-old children. They used a specific recruiting questionnaire that would ensure there were more children with elevated symptoms of depression. This would later allow researchers to separate the effects of poverty from existing psychological disorders. The children were interviewed annually, and once they were at least 16, researchers tested them for cognitive function, psychiatric disorders, high-risk behaviors, educational function, and social function. During the 17 years, the participants also received 5 brain scans that measured the volumes of local and global brain matter, giving the researchers a unique insight into whether brain development was a mediating factor. After controlling for variables including preschool psychopathology and any significant life events throughout the years, the researchers were able to show socioeconomic status in preschool was associated with cognitive function, high-risk behaviors, social function, and educational function 13 plus years after the then children joined the study. Brain scan results showed the physical marks of poverty. The children who were living below the poverty level as preschoolers had smaller volumes of certain subcortical brain regions. Subcortical regions aren't a prime research target because they are not necessarily responsible for a specific cognitive or emotional function. Instead, information must travel through them in order to reach regions of the brain associated with higher order functioning. To be clear, this data does not paint a deterministic picture. Plenty of kids have wonderful outcomes despite growing up in poverty. That is often because they have had additional support and additional resources. The researcher says that growing up in poverty makes things harder for people, but it is preventable.